Okay, so I'm CammyG, and I'm going to be making a secondary video to the AFK video, basically being what the other big problem is for Save the World, which is the fact that the game's it's just too hard right now, I think, for most people. Like, a lot of people don't know how to make trap tunnels. A lot of people just aren't very good at shooting the husks or using, builds effectively. And I don't think that's any fault of their own. Like, there's definitely problems with the game that don't, teach you how to use this stuff. But, you've got missions like 140 missions where you only have a maximum weapon of 130. Especially the 4x missions are just impossible at this point unless you spam traps. And, I know there's a dupe glitch going right now for traps, but you shouldn't have to spend that many traps to succeed a mission, I don't think. Because it makes the rewards not worth it. Especially when you can play war games and endurance and you don't have to spend, any more traps because you've already placed them all. So, basically the first problem is that a lot of players, even in Twine, don't know how to build trap tunnels effectively. Like this game where the guy went AFK, the other two just didn't know how to make the trap tunnels. One of them dropped a few traps, which, is helpful, but I've had to spend 40 traps anyway. But yeah, this isn't their fault. Like, if you don't know how to build trap tunnels, that's not your fault. The game doesn't have any sort of tutorial in it. And that's just really, really bad, considering that you have to build in these higher Twine missions. Like, I remember one of the first missions you do on Save the World, there's like a tunnel, and it's blocked off at the sides, and there's a few traps in there. That's about as close as you get to the game showing you how to build proper trap tunnels. And that's pathetic. This game's been out for 2-3 years now, nearly, and then they still haven't got, a good tutorial or a good guide as to build trap tunnels. Like, people have to rely on people like me or, anybody else that's, streams or does YouTube to, put out a guide for it. And, like, I put one out a while back and it only got, like, 20 views because, I don't have that many subscribers, so I can't reach out to the players, to teach them how to build. If they put something in the actual game, obviously everybody's going to see that, and everybody can learn to build trap tunnels better. What I think they should do is, in your storm shields, you've got your war games, you've got your endurance modes. There should be another mode, like a tutorial, a boot camp mode, something like that, where they kind of have like the first mission super easy. There's only a few enemies, and you just have to build, one little trap tunnel to kill the enemies. They could, use the fact that you can have like trap vulnerable stuff, so you can make the enemies only get damaged by traps, which would obviously force you to build the trap tunnels, and then just slowly make it harder and harder and harder, so that you're learning as you go how to build the trap tunnels. They could even, for the first few at least, or, all the way throughout, show you where to put walls, or, give you hints as to where you might want to put walls. And this would just help absolutely everybody. You might argue some people might not bother wanting to do this, but you could easily just give it some really good rewards so that people would want to do it. And, that's fixed the problem pretty much, because now most people, at least, know how to build trap tunnels. And especially with it going free to play and new players coming in, having no knowledge of it, this could be all the way from Stonewood up to Twine. You could have this sort of mode, and it would, just help people understand how to build trap tunnels. On top of that, there's the fact that, some people aren't exactly using the hero builds effectively. Now, that's a little bit harder to do tutorial-wise in the game, just because of how many different combinations there are. That kind of boils down to just, people's understanding of the game. And, they could definitely do sort of tutorials, or, give a hint on the hero loadout, how you might want to use it. I'm not sure. That one's a little bit, tougher to do. Definitely a lot harder than the trap tunnel one, because that's just, you can just simply just put a mode in that teaches people how to do it. But I think if they added like a new top level for guns, it would definitely make missions more viable, and even like another tier for, to make your heroes go to. Just because like definitely, like every mission on the game is possible to do if you get the right team and the right expertise. But most of the high-level Twine missions, like the majority of the player base, just can't hack it. They're just, you know, for whatever reason, whether they don't know how to build tap tunnels or the mission's just too hard because of some of the modifiers or something. And yeah, it's nice having a challenge, especially, you know, when you're in the end game and you don't have any missions left to do, any quest lines or anything. But when it gets to the stage where it's that difficult and you have to spend that many traps, it just becomes a chore, and you know, you end up going back to the AFKing war games or endurance. And I think they've definitely got to make the missions easier somehow. Like, definitely they still need to be difficult, especially the 4 times, you know, to get all the rewards. But like I said in the other videos about AFKing, you've still got people AFKing in those missions, which means obviously it's going to be like you know, you have 3/4 of the players you would have if the person wasn't AFKing. So it's even harder just because of that. And then if the other two don't know what they're doing, you know, you have to solely do it yourself, and you know, you might as well either solo the mission or just do war games or endurance. So they definitely need to either make the missions a little bit easier, or, you know, add another level to the guns and heroes, just so that it is more viable to do these missions. But yeah, just another little rant type video. Let me know what you think about this, definitely, in the comments. You know, do you think missions are too hard at high Twine? You know, are you able to build trap tunnels yourself? Would you enjoy that sort of mode in Fortnite, you know, where they kind of teach you how to build trap tunnels? I definitely think it would help the game massively, especially if it's going free to play. But yeah, if you did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, just to get notifications on the future videos. But I will see you in the next one.